Hi everybody, I'm back with a live hangout. Yay, how you guys doing? And like the description says, you can I'm back with a live hangout. So, like the description says, you're free to ask me anything you want about me, about Canada, about Canadian immigration, about Alberta, about Edmonton, about anything you want. And hi guys, I really enjoy doing this hangouts with you guys. It's an opportunity to connect more face to face or more in person to with you guys, with the people who watch my videos and subscribe my channel. So I really enjoy that. And so let's start this, right? And while I'm starting to get people to watch this hangout, and or you guys are starting to think about your questions, what you guys want to say. Could be questions, could be comments, whatever you guys want, right? I actually have here some questions I received in the last few days that I'm going to answer them here while I'm waiting for your guys' question. Okay, so and like I said, there's a box that we can chat, and you can ask all your questions, and feel free to do so. Okay, so while I wait for your answers, for your questions, I mean, I hope you guys are hearing me. Okay. Okay. Yeah. There you go. So here's the list of questions that I received in the last few days. So the first one is about the post-graduation work permit. And the question is, just curious, is it okay to get a side job while being employed as full-time on post-graduation work permit? On the document, it doesn't clearly identify no side job as a constraint. Well, post-graduation work permit is an open work permit, right? So it's not restricted to one specific employer or one specific position, right? Unlike the ones on the work permits on the temporary foreign worker program, right? So technically, with a post-graduation work permit, yes, you can have a second job, a third job, how many jobs you can fit in your day, in your schedule, right? Uh, just make sure that the jobs you work, if you want to immigrate to Canada, if you want to apply for permanent residence, make sure that the jobs you apply for are first related to what you study in Canada, and there are professions that qualify you for permanent residence under the Federal Skilled Worker Program, Canadian Experience Class, Federal Skilled Trades Program, etc., which are professions the skill level 0, A, or B of the NOC, National Occupation Classification. So have attention to that. But yeah, technically, and to answer your question, technically, yes, you can have as many jobs as you want with a post-graduation work permit, since it's an open work permit. Okay. So, check. No questions yet. That's fine. Let's go to the next question then. This is also about study permits in studying in Canada. The question is, can my study visa application be rejected because of the course I chose? I already have an engineering bachelor's degree in IT from India, and I also have 4.5 years of work experience as a developer. Will my study visa application be rejected if I apply for a 2-year undergraduate diploma? First of all, can I do that? Will the college accept the application? Or the only options I have are a postgraduate diploma or a master's? Well, if you're applying for study permits, and no matter what level of the course is, if it's undergraduate, master's, postgraduate, you need to show, you need to demonstrate on your application to the immigration officer that you're a genuine student. That means you need to demonstrate how that course you want to study in Canada is going to benefit you in your home country, in your career, in the previous background in education that you already have, how this course is going to benefit you in your home country when or if you return, right? So there's no hard or fast answers on that. If your application is going to be rejected or not, it doesn't depend on me. It depends on the immigration officer, obviously, and I'm not an immigration officer. But basically, you need to demonstrate that you're a genuine student, you actually intend to study, that you're not just applying for a study permit to come to Canada and be allowed to work 20 hours, up to 20 hours per week, which international students are allowed to do, or that you're not just using the study permit to apply for permanent residence in the future. You have to demonstrate that you're a genuine student, that you actually intend to study, right? So you have to demonstrate the benefits of that course for you, for your career, for your home country, okay? So next question is about English test. English test for Canadian immigration. And the question is, which English test should I take? I'm planning on permanently moving to British Columbia when I finish my associate's degree. I'm undecided if I'm moving as a skilled worker or a student. I'm German. English is my first language. I currently live in Kansas and hold both the US and German European Union citizenship. I know that I need to take one of 3 English proficiency tests. I don't have the list on me, I'm on mobile, in order to immigrate, even if English is my native language. Which one would be the best to take? How long are they valid? I won't move for another year and a half. Well, for the English language tests, there are actually only 2, not 3, tests that you can take for Canadian immigration, which is the IELTS and the CELPIP. Okay, if you're immigrating as a skilled worker, you'll need to take the IELTS general training, the general training part of the IELTS. If you're coming to Canada as a student, you need to take the IELTS academic. Right. The other option is the CELPIP, which is English language test that can only be done within Canada. So if you're right now living in Kansas, your default choice would be to do the IELTS, because the CELPIP can only be done physically in Canada, right? And the results of the IELTS are valid for 2 years. So if you're not coming to Canada for another year and a half, I suggest you to wait a little bit longer till you do the English test. Otherwise, if you do it right now, then by the time you're actually going to apply, the IELTS is going to be close to expiring, and then you may be required to do another one, and those tests are expensive. Like I recently did IELTS academic, so I can it's one of the documents I need to send to the ICCRC and to register and to for the exam to become a regulated immigration consultant. And I did the IELTS academic at the University of Calgary, and it cost me $300. So those tests are expensive. So like I said, if you're not moving for another year and a half, I suggest you to wait until a little bit longer until you actually do it, till we're closer to for you to come to Canada, so it can be so you won't have problems about the document expiring and all that. Okay. So okay. So next question. Well, I'm still waiting for your guys' questions. Yes. Hi everyone. I know the official policy is that you can stay in Canada on a tourist stamp for up to 6 months, but I can't seem to get an answer anywhere about whether there is 6 months at a time or 6 months in a year. Background. I spent 4 months in Alberta staying with my fiance who's on work visa. I've been back in the States for 5 weeks and I'm about to go back to Canada. I would like to request for 6 more months. Any tips? Uh, well, it's 6 months per stay, not 6 months per year. So you can actually stay in Canada. You said you stay in Canada for 4 months. You can go to United States, enter the United States, and then turn back, and then you come back and request 6 more months, right? Um, it's not guaranteed that the 6 more months are going to be provided to you. You need to prove that you still have sufficient ties to the U.S., right? Um, So you need to prove that you have sufficient ties to the U.S. Because right now you have ties to Canada. The fact that your girlfriend's here in Canada, so you need to prove that you have ties to the U.S., like a course to go back to, a school to go back to, or a business to go back to, or family in the United States, or job to go back to in the United States. So you have ties to go back to Canada, so that the immigration officer it's satisfied that you're not going to stay in Canada past the 6 months, that you're not going to overstay your 6 months stay in Canada, okay? Also, you need to prove that you have sufficient funds to support yourself for those 6 months, because visitors are not allowed to work in Canada. So you need to prove that you have access when you're at the border. You need to prove that you have access to sufficient funds to support yourself in Canada without being stranded here, right? So you have the money you take with you, when you bring with you to Canada, or you have the fact that you have access to debit cards and credit cards, and you have money on those to use in case you need without being stranded. Okay. Okay. So, okay, no more questions yet. But yes, like I was saying, anyone, and this applies not only a person who wants to stay in Canada for 6 months, but applies to anyone who wants to come to Canada as a visitor, has to prove they have sufficient ties to their own country, and that they have funds to support themselves. Those are the two main things that immigration officers and border officers are also going to look for when deciding if you're allowed to enter Canada or not. Okay. Okay. This is an interesting one. It's about express entry, and I have a video about express entry. Explain that express entry is not an immigration program. If you guys check my last video. So this question is: I'm a touch confused. I took the express entry questionnaire on the CIC's website. When I select Quebec as the province to which I want to move, I'm told I do not qualify for express entry. This happens before I enter any information about my education and job history. If I select Ontario, however, I get to enter all my information, and I'm told I likely qualify for express entry. What am I missing? What you're missing is that Quebec doesn't participate on the express entry system. Quebec manages its own immigration affairs. They have their own immigration programs, different than the ones on the federal level. And they do not participate on express entry. That's why when you do that questionnaire, if you qualify for express entry or not, and you select Quebec, that questionnaire automatically is going to deem you not eligible for express entry, just because of the province you want to move to. But if you select Ontario or Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, British Columbia, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland, Labrador, all the other provinces, and even territories, that you'll be fine, because they do participate on express entry. right? And some provinces even have provisional nominee programs that have an express entry stream of the provisional nominee programs. You may also qualify for. So that's what you're missing, is that Quebec doesn't participate on the express entry. Yeah, they have an agreement with Government of Canada regarding immigration. So in order to immigrate to Quebec, you need to apply for a Certificat de Sélection de Québec. It's a document that basically tells the government that Quebec wants you and you qualify to immigrate to Quebec. And then with that document, then you apply for immigration in terms of a federal level for permanent residency with all the requirements, and they do all the security, medical checks, all that is done on a federal level, but you need to be approved by the province of Quebec in order to immigrate there. Okay, also about provisional nominee programs, and let me just check. Still no questions. So there was a question here. What's the procedure to obtain Ontario nomination for PR in Canada? PR is permanent residence. And well, you can go to the website. I'm going to put the website on the description of this video after the hangout is done. But it's a website. It's called, I have it here, www.ontarioimmigration.ca. Okay, you go to there, ontarioimmigration.ca. You have to select English or French, which language you want the website to be. Then you have, like, in the middle of the page, you have a button that says Immigrant Nominee Program, so something like that. And you click in there, and then it's going to appear the different streams of the Ontario's provincial nominee programs. If you can check there all the requirements and the procedures, what you need to do to apply for those, and if you qualify for those or not. Okay, so the website for obtain Ontario nomination for permanent residence in Canada is www.ontarioimmigration.ca. Okay, then in the middle of the page you have there a button, Immigrant Nominee Program, and click there. You have all the options of Ontario provincial nominee programs. Okay, just checking. Still no more questions. Guess I'm very shy today. See that you guys are very, very shy. If that's the case, it's going to be a very short hangout, unfortunately. Don't be shy. Ask your questions. Say your comments. And I'm here waiting. Okay? You can say hi. And I'm going to talk with you guys, right? Instead of just answering questions that were already sent to me previously, right? I want to actually talk to you live, because that's really, really fun to do, right? So, waiting for your questions, for comments. Okay. Sorry. My question, this is about study permit applications. I'm about to apply for a study permit, but I'm afraid I might run into problems with my medical exam, as I have gallstones and hemorrhoids. Would it affect my chance of getting my immigration approval? Well, as long as your conditions are under control, so if you take medication, you feel well, it should be fine. The immigration officer wouldn't care, and those conditions are not likely to put risk to Canadian society, or to put a long strain into the Canadian healthcare system. So the doctor doing your medical exam shouldn't have much problems with the fact that you have those conditions, right? So don't worry. I'm sorry, I apologize. Last week I was a little bit sick, actually, so I'm not recording or making as many videos as I like to, unfortunately, because this change of weather, now we're in fall, so this change of weather kind of takes a toll on me. So, okay, what are the questions we have? Still no questions for you guys, from you guys. Very shy today. So, okay. Come on, don't be shy. Ask your questions about whatever you want to know. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. That's why I like to do these hangouts. So, which are the questions we have here to answer that I haven't answered already? Okay, there's this one here. American moving to Canada for a couple of months, go on job interviews and get a work permit. Is this a good idea? Do you know any tips for someone that's settling in Canada before getting papers? Just a little backstory. I'm moving over there to be with my fiance. We are planning a wedding next year. So this is the best way for us to be together at the moment. I currently have a bachelor's in exercise and sports science, and I have over 3 years managing healthcare. Thank you for the advice. Well, coming to Canada, you say, like moving to Canada and settling in Canada, and words you're using in your question. It's not as simple as just driving to the border, right? You can be turned away if you're able to prove that you're likely to return to Canada after a maximum of 6 months. Likely to return to the US, I mean, after a maximum of 6 months. And also, if you aren't able to prove that you have enough funds to support yourself during your stay in Canada. Again, visitors can't work in Canada, so you have to have access to enough funds to support your stay during that amount of time, right? Well, you can look for jobs. You can, like in Canada, you can look for jobs, but it's very difficult for you to actually get a job right now, because employers, in order for employers to hire for a worker, they need to go through a process called a LMIA to obtain a LMIA, labor market impact assessment. Okay, and in order to do that, they need to prove that they can find Canadian citizens or permanent residents to fill that job position. So they need to prove that they advertise it for a certain amount of time, they advertise that position, that they need to prove that they try to hire Canadians or permanent residents to fill that job position, and then that they can find a suitable candidate for that position, right? And only after that, they need to actually apply for the LMIA. It takes months to actually get that document if it gets approved. And then, yes, with that LMIA, an employer in Canada can hire a person who's not a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident, right? And so that person will need to apply for a work permit and to apply for a worker program. And one of the documents will be the LMIA, as well as the contract and all sorts of other documents. So, and it's a very bureaucratic process. It's a very long process, and most employers don't want to go through that hassle, because it's a lot faster, a lot easier to just hire a Canadian citizen and a permanent resident or a permanent resident for that position, right? Without having to go through all the hassle of applying for LMIA. And so, just to be realistic, yes, you can come as a visitor and try to look for jobs, but a success rate in doing so is going to be very, very slim. Your chances of getting an employer who already has an LMIA and wants to hire you, or an employer who is willing to do an LMIA to hire you and go through all that hassle in the first place, your chances are very slim, right? So you said here that you have work experience more in healthcare, right? You can actually try to, since you have a bachelor's degree and you have experience in healthcare, you can check some the express entry if you qualify for federal skilled workers program, for instance. And there's actually a provisional nominee program from British Columbia that's directed to healthcare professionals. So you can check that out as well. Just Google British Columbia's provisional nominee programs, and you find one that is specifically for healthcare professionals. So you might qualify for that. I don't know, right? I need to get more information about your more details about your background, to actually know that. But you might qualify for that. Maybe an option, the BC Provisional Nominee Program, and for healthcare professionals, since it's your area, and that'll be faster if you do qualify for express entry, if you have enough points to receive an invitation to apply for permanent residence under the Fast Skilled Worker Program, or if you get a BC provisional nomination and you get extra 600 points on the express entry system, then that'll be an option that'll be more realistic than coming here and trying to get an employer to be willing to hire you, an employer who has to have an LMIA in order to hire a foreign national, right? So that's just the current situation, right? So still no questions, right? Okay, let me see if I have any more questions here to be answered. Seems that those were all the questions I had here to answer. And if there's no more questions, still no questions. So if there's no more questions, I guess I'm gonna give this hangout concluded, because seems to be no more no questions that you guys want to ask me today. Makes me kind of sad. And so just waiting a little bit. No questions. Yes, no. Since there's actually no, you guys don't want to ask me anything or comment anything today on this hangout. So I'm gonna give this this hangout as concluded and as finished. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. And good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever your guys are right now. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and check my videos. And I hope you guys like this hangout, that you get some questions, some doubts that these questions had, that would also apply to you, if it applied to you guys, that you had some of those doubts answered as well, because that's what I'm here for, to help you guys and answer your questions, your doubts. So about Canadian immigration, about Canada, and that's it. So if there's no more questions, I will get this hangout as concluded, and see you guys then on my next videos.